Hello, my name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about data privacy and fast identity online, and which is also called FIDO. So, fast identity online, there's an alliance of people who've been working together for over 10 years to try to create standards and systems for organizations to try to move away from passwords. So basically, being able to increase the level of security in the way that people access data systems, but also to be able to do it in a way to be able to move beyond passwords, to make things more secure, and also to create, in a way, less friction for users when they go online. So there are a lot of popular organizations that are part of this FIDO Alliance. I think Google is part of it. There are a lot of like major banks, a lot of major consulting firms. Actually, Apple is not part of FIDO Alliance, but they're also working in parallel with similar things. So basically, we know that passwords are the most common ways that people secure information online. We know that passwords are vulnerable because they're phishable, that people, reuse or transfer passwords. So it's not a good way forward. So the National Institute of Standards and Technology, called NIST, they have a thing called their digital identity guidelines. And so for their digital identity guidelines, they have kind of three levels. It's called Authenticator Assurance Level 1, 2, and 3. So the lowest level is 1, which is kind of username and password. The second level is two-factor or multi-factor authentication. And then the third level is some type of mechanism that cannot be phished, meaning that someone can't be tricked into being able to give up their password because it's connected to some type of hardware that someone accesses. So the FIDO Alliance put out a paper. It's called How FIDO Addresses a Full Range of Use Cases. And what they think that they've done is try to find a way to go to that kind of third level of hardware security without doing it in a way that requires, maybe special hardware or special software, so to speak. So the two things that they're trying to do is create a situation where a phone, if someone has a mobile device, it can be like a roaming authenticator. So organizations, if they use the phone and they're using something like Bluetooth to say this phone is within proximity of X, that may be a way that companies can use phones to authenticate people, to possibly be able to do that instead of passwords. Also, they came up with the idea of multi-device credentials, FIDO credentials, which is if someone has more than one device, maybe those devices together can store something like, almost like instead of a password manager, it would be like a cryptography manager. So instead of storing passwords, you have something on these devices that store cryptography keys, so that the phone or the device being used can be authenticated. This is still kind of a thinking piece. It's an interesting paper, and we're going to see, hopefully, a lot of organizations who are looking into this try to find ways to use this type of authentication. I think that Apple is doing things along this line, not exactly, but obviously Apple doesn't have the same issues because they have more of a closed ecosystem with their OS. So I know a lot of the companies on this alliance, they're mostly thinking about, obviously Apple too, but also kind of more of the open source, Android and kind of everyone else who access the internet. People are thinking, are hoping that this comes to pass. Obviously, some downsides are, not everyone has a smartphone. Not everyone has two devices that have, possibly updated OS in a way that it can actually do this process. But, it remains to be seen how organizations come up with ways to actually utilize this. I think this is definitely a win, especially for companies that can possibly give people two devices or do this kind of, Bluetooth proximity authentication. So it remains to be seen how this is going to happen, but I'm really excited to see what people come up with in the future. That's it. Thank you.